welcome to the first edition of the Nahar Jito Bookathon presented in association with the Raisoni Foundation. In this session, we are going to explore the book Smash It, Butterfingers. A smashing time, sports, and humors in the Butterfingers series. Look out, it's Butterfingers again, and in smashing form. There's a lot going on in Green Park School. Ozymandias, a black cat, walks into classrooms, and there's a buzz about a badminton tournament that is to be played on Friday the 13th. Sponsored by Brijesh K. Singh, an eccentric millionaire who loves badminton and hates superstitions. This tournament is good news for sports crazy Amar Kishan, aka Butterfingers, and his friends. Badminton practice begins, but can it be smooth sailing with talks of scams, superstitions, and suspicions? Butterfingers sure has a lot on his hands. Join Amar on his hilarious adventure as he defies luck with his madcap schemes. Let the game begin. A speaker for the session, Miss Khyrunnisa A, is an award-winning writer of children's fiction who created the popular comic character Butterfingers and authored the hilarious Butterfingers series of books. The latest, Smash It, Butterfingers, a badminton-based novel, is the seventh in the series. Tongue-in-cheek, The Funny Side of Life is her first book for adults. She has written two collections of delightful animal stories, The Lizard of Oz and Other Stories, and The Crocodile Who Ate Butter Chicken for Breakfast, and Other Stories, and a short novel, Baby and Dub Dub. She is a full-time writer and lives in Thiruvananthapuram. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to our speaker.
It's a privilege. It's an honor for me to be here with you. And Kanak, thank you very much for your very warm words of introduction. Nice to know that you are a poet and a writer yourself. Yeah, I hope someday I will be able to read your works too. Yes. So now, coming to my books, this is a session about Butterfingers, because if you look at the topic, it is a smashing time. I'm hoping that you will have a smashing time. And the rest of the title is Sports and Humor in the Butterfingers series. So these are books I have written, as Kanak said, my latest book, that is Smash It, Butterfingers. This is the book. It's the seventh in the series. So far there are 7 Butterfingers books. As of now, I have written 7 Butterfingers books. And if you just take a quick look, if I just tell you the titles, you will get an idea of what they are about. I mean, a general idea. Now, the first book, a novel, is How's That, Butterfingers? Then it's followed by Gold Butterfingers. The third book is Clean Bowl Butterfingers. The fourth is Misadventures of Butterfingers. The fifth is Run It's Butterfingers. Again, I have to think of my own books, right? The next one is yes, of course, and then we have Smash It. I don't know whether I got them all. How's That, Butterfingers? Gold Butterfingers, Clean Bowl Butterfingers, Misadventures of Butterfingers, Run It's Butterfingers again, of course it's Butterfingers, and Smash It, Butterfingers. So those of you who are familiar with sports, you know, how's that is the appeal. When a batsman, when the bowler asks the umpire after hitting the pad of the batsman with the ball, asking him if he's out, how's that? He says. So you have a title like that, and you surely will know, you will guess it is a book about cricket. There is cricket in it. Goal, Butterfingers. Goal, I know you associate it with football, hockey. There are other games. There are many games where you have goals. But if you look at the title page, you know it's a football book. It's a football-based novel. And then the third one, Clean Bowl Butterfingers. It has got to be cricket again. And the next 3, they are all Misadventures of Butterfingers. Run It's Butterfingers. Again, look very colorful, don't they? And of course, it's Butterfingers. And then you have Smash It, Butterfingers. So all of them tell you certain things. One is that clearly there are 3 or 4 books which are very openly about sports-based books. And the others also have some bit of sports coming in occasionally, because the next 3 books are collections of short stories. where I have again brought in cricket. There is swimming, there is fencing, there is karate, there is hockey. So a lot of sports you keep getting sports. I keep getting sports in. And look at the other part of the title, Butterfingers. Butterfingers. How's that Butterfingers? Goal Butterfingers. We are not dropping, though Butterfingers keeps dropping things, we are not dropping Butterfingers from the title. He is there all the time. So he is what we call the eponymous hero. Eponymous hero is the hero whose name is also in the title. So here is Butterfingers, obviously a nickname. I can't imagine any parent naming the child Butterfingers. It has got to be a nickname. So here is the title itself tells you Butterfingers, we know, is the nickname for anyone who drops things, who is clumsy. So you have titles where there is sports and there is a hero whose nickname is Butterfingers. Surely you can imagine that they will be humorous books. So for me, I'm trying to blend sports. Not all of them are completely about sports, but I'm blending sports with humor. Because if there is a Butterfingers, if there is somebody who is clumsy, if there's somebody who is dropping things all the time, if there is someone who is taking disaster with him wherever he goes, surely there will be a lot of fun. So that is what I try to do through my books. So briefly, I will just tell you about Amar, the hero of Butterfingers. That is the boy who is nicknamed Butterfingers. His real name is Amar Kishan. He's 13 years old. He is in class 8 in a school. The name of the school is Green Park Higher Secondary School. And I have, significantly enough, I have not given a city where the school is. People ask me, where is it? Where is the school? So I tell them I've deliberately not given a proper location because I want the school to be anywhere in India. It could be in Nagpur, it could be in Trivandrum, it could be in Chennai, it could be in Delhi, it could be in Calcutta. You just relate to what's happening in the school because it is dealing with what happens in school to school children, the incidents that bind them together, and so on. So that is Amar, all right? And a boy who, from the time it was his father who nicknamed him Butterfingers, all right? His father, because his parents were the long suffering, the people who were the victims of his dropping things all the time. And because he was doing that, his father nicknamed him Butterfingers. And then everybody realized it's a perfect name for this boy because he's forever dropping things. You drop things, I'm sure, Kanak. I drop things. We have, you know how it is. We all drop things. We are all clumsy. We all have a little bit of clumsiness in us. But in Amar, it is a little, it's a dominating feature of his character that he is often, always, maybe not always. I mean, you have to give him some break in between. Break is not the word to use with reference to Amar because breaking is what he's doing all the time. But that is, he is in the thick of things causing disaster and so on. So that is Amar. He is and a boy who is always like that. And he's a very happy-go-lucky chap. He loves sports. He loves the outdoors. He loves playing. He loves games. Is very intelligent, but he's not first in class, second in class, third in class. He's somewhere near the bottom because he believes that only you need students at the bottom for others to be first, second, and third. All right, very large-hearted of him, and he's tall, thin, untidy, always hair all over his place. Shirt will never be inside, tucked in, and shoes will be open in front, often with the toe saying "Hello, how are you?" He doesn't care about all that. And this tall, thin boy, his closest friend is a boy whose name is Kiran. Kiran is short and plump, and he's been nicknamed Tub because he looks like a tub, right? And Butterfingers, his friends keep shortening his name. You know how it is when we have a long name, you can't keep calling the name all the time, you shorten it. So Butterfingers has become Butter and then has become Butt, all right? But with only one T. And you have, so together they are called Butt Tub. Amar and Kiran. They've got other friends too. So I've created some quirky characters. There is Kishore. Kishore is a boy who loves the English language, who loves books, whose reading skills are way above his age, way beyond his age. He reads a lot. It is through Kishore that I channelize my love for literature because I love literature, I love English, and so I take it. I have I'm so glad I created him. Through him, I can talk about literature. Nobody will say if a 13-year-old boy is quoting Shakespeare, I can't just introduce it like that. But when I have introduced him as a boy who loves reading way beyond his age, then nobody takes it as skins. So I've created this boy who is so good in English, his English teacher is scared of him, right? He's forever, finding fault with other people's use of the language and so on. So that is Kishore for you. Then there is this boy whose name is Thomas. Thomas he asks questions all the time. It's not always teachers who ask questions. Thomas asks questions all the time, and even if you ask him a question, he replies with another question. Right? Where are you going, Thomas? He will not. He will say, "Why do you want to know?" And he's forever asking questions. So he has been nicknamed Question Box or Doubting Thomas. And we have another boy whose name is Arjun. They're all in the same class. Arjun is a lover of music. He loves playing the guitar. He's a little eccentric. He's got long hair. He wears one earring. He doesn't care about how he dresses. His head is full of tunes, full of music all the time. And in class, he's always in his own world, creating music. So if you give him a book, if you get anything in his hand, becomes a guitar. All right. He strums it and he moves his head all the time. Suddenly he gets back to earth and asks, "Where am I? What's happening?" So that is Arjun for you, this eccentric boy. I mean, all are not eccentric. There are also other quite normal boys like Jairam, Eric, Arun, and there is a girl, Minu, a girl I wanted to introduce because I had this idea of writing a book with cricket as the central interesting sport that holds the book together. I don't know why I placed it in a boys' school. And having done that, I have to carry it forward. I'm sure girls will protest saying, "Why did you do that? We are also playing cricket." Because it's a cricket. Why did you why did the milieu become a boys' school? Well, I really do not know why I did that, but I did it. And I'm trying hard to get more girls inside into the school. So I've got Minu. Then in another book, I brought in a girl called Reshmi. There are teachers, who are female ladies. So I've tried to bring in some female presence, and I find that a lot of girls, they don't have any problem. They don't ask me, "Oh, why don't you bring more girls?" They're happy reading these books where you have an occasional girl walking in and out, and so on. So that is that is these people, the students. They are in class 8A, and there is so you notice the characters I have created are also the kind who will generate humor, through whom I can generate humor, through whom I can make things funny. See, I believe that children should laugh a lot. Life is very serious. They are so stressed out. I'm sure you'll agree, Kanak, because you find they have so much from the time they are small. Once they go to school, they're loaded with homework. There's so much pressure on them. So I always wonder, what can I do to ease that pressure? How can I de-stress them? In my way, because I love humor and I like to write humor, I thought this is one way in which I can contribute to their good cheer, to make them laugh, to get the stress out of them by just guffawing, forgetting themselves in the school where they are with the students, laughing in problems, getting out of it, and so on. So that's one reason, and I really believe that humor has a very great role to play in the well-being, not just of children, but of everybody. Because that is what lightens our mood. That is what makes us look at life in a more balanced way. It is because humor is all about laughing about something. We are not mocking. There's a difference between mocking laughter and humorous laughter. character. So we are often laughing at ourselves. I find a lot in me to laugh about. So I have the book for adults that I have written tongue in cheek, where I am the target mostly. I'm laughing at myself most of the time. So that is how, that's what I think. And this is my contribution to children's literature through, that is, making children feel happy through humor. And so that is, and then I create these situations. So now let me just briefly let me tell you that the first book, which is House at Butterfingers, yes, this is the first book, House at Butterfingers, which is important because any first book in a series is important, because it is the one that starts off everything. So here is the book which introduces the characters. Here's the book which places them in particular surroundings, which tells you about the school, which tells you about the teachers, which tells you about the kind of confrontations they can have, and so on. But what I want to make you understand, it's not like Harry Potter's, the Philosopher's Stone, or the first book, which you need to read before you read the third book, second book, third book. You need to go in order. In my books, what I do is every book is self-contained. So you can read this book, but at least, I don't know, I am the kind who would like to read in order. So I would like to read the first book. Most people like to read the first book in a series. But if you pick up this book first, there's absolutely no harm in reading it. You will understand everything because I introduce the characters in every book in some way or the other. So I'll just tell you how I have introduced Amar in this book. See, you look at the first, this is the seventh book, but this is how it starts. Race you to the milestone, Amar Kishan threw an impulsive challenge to Kiran Reddy, his best buddy. The 13-year-old boys, students of class 8A of Green Park Higher Secondary School, were walking home after school. Well, walking is too elementary a word to describe their action-packed journey, action-filled journey. They jumped, fenced, charged, vaulted, smashed, dunked, scored complicated goals, and heaved imaginary sixes in a heady mixture of hyperactive perambulation. So in that one paragraph, I have told you about Amar, about Kiran, which class they are in, and the fact that they are very lively, hyperactive children, and that they love sports because they are imagining, they are dunking, they are heaving sixes, and so on. And very soon after that, I will also tell you that he's been nicknamed Butterfingers. Right? So that is how I have introduced him in this book. And the book before that, what happens is, again, I'm introducing him in the first. When the book first starts, I'm not introducing him here in the first page. He's not on the first page at all. It starts with the principle. We believe in honoring the words of the dead. This book is titled The Historic Girls versus Boys Cricket Match. Now, don't think that it is a ghost story. We believe in honoring the words of the dead. A. Mr. Jagmohan, principal of Green Park Higher Secondary School, gulped, goggled at the computer screen and read the message again. He pressed a hand to his head, urging it to make sense of the cryptic mail. What words? Who is dead? He wondered if he was delirious and heading towards a relapse. So he has been on leave, and that's how he's catching up on the mail. But he doesn't understand this mail, and he realizes that it's something to do with sports. So he wants the sports teacher to be called. And he opens the door. He doesn't find his peon anywhere. He's gone for lunch. And he thinks he will ask a student to bring the sports teacher to him. He opened his door. This is the second page. He opened his door just in time to see Amar scuttle past. It wasn't the best of choices. But finding no one else in sight, he bellowed, Amar, come here. Amar stopped in his tracks, startled. Now what had he done? He's always in trouble, all right? Now what had he done? Nicknamed Butterfingers for his amazing ability to drop things, Amar Kishan was Class 8A's prime architect of disaster. Well known for getting his class and himself into perpetual trouble. Being summoned by the principal was a regular occurrence. Take that guilty look off your face, Amar, no matter what you might have done, Mr. Jagmohan continued his vocal impersonation of a bull. Go tell Mr. Sundarlal to drop everything and come here immediately. Drop everything, sir? Amar grinned on hearing his favorite word. I meant, put everything else aside. Don't act silly. He gave him one of his withering glares. Tell him it's a matter of life and death. It's to do with a boys versus girls cricket match. The moment he uttered those words, Mr. Jagmohan wanted to bite his tongue because he knew now the news will spread like wildfire. So, what I wanted to tell you is just that every book they get introduced. So, you don't have to read the books in order. There is no chronological, there's a kind of a very mild chronological thread running through. Very faint, you could say. But otherwise, you can take any book. You can take this book and read it, a collection of short stories. You can take any other book and read it. It is fine. So now coming back to House at Butterfingers, you have, I'll just briefly tell you because it's the first book, I'll just tell you what exactly happens here. Now, in our school, it is, they are, you look at the cover first. It's obviously a collision. And the illustrations have been done by Abhijit Kini. Wonderfully done. He really captures what I have in my head about Amar and what's happening. I really love the illustrations. This one does not have his illustrations except in the cover. In the novels, Smash It, we have every chapter having one illustration. In the short story collections, every story has one illustration. All right, because we all love illustrations, don't we? I think even when we are uh, grown-ups, older people, when we get a book and we find there are pictures, we look at the pictures first. I think that is something to do with how we grew up. We grew up looking at pictures. Pictures strike a chord. We have never forgotten the fascination that we have for pictures. So we love pictures. And here, this is obviously a collision. So what's happened is that there is this man called Colonel Natkarni who lives very close to the school. Our school does not have a playground. Now you'll be shocked. Imagine a school without a playground. A school without a teacher would be welcome, but imagine having a school without a playground. They do have a playground, but it doesn't belong to the school. It belongs to this man called Colonel Natkarni, who loves children. He's a bachelor, but he loves children. He loves cricket, games. So he says, children, you can play, the school can use his grounds as the school grounds. And he's told them, don't worry at all. I have written in my will, he's about 76. He said, I have written in my will that when I die, these grounds will go to the school. So everything is fine. Right? It's practically their grounds. And Colonel Natkarni has he started a rolling trophy the previous year, which is the Colonel Natkarni Under 15 Inter-School Limited Overs Cricket Trophy. What a short name. And the year before this book begins, Amar School, Green Park, lost the match, lost the trophy by 1 run. Who do you think was responsible? Amar. Last runs to get, last ball to be bowled, what is it, over, and the last ball of the over, and everything last. You know how we have those, like the World Cup, England versus New Zealand match, where we were sitting on the edge of our seat watching what's going to happen, everything last. And the ball was bowled. Amar ran. Kiran was running from the other side. Kiran is not running. Kiran is more rolling. That's how he kind of, his locomotion is like that. And then Amar drops his bat. And when he dropped his bat, Amar went back to get the bat. Now, I don't know how well versed you are with cricket, Kanak, and you children, many of you will be knowing that when you don't need the bat to complete the run. You just need to get into the crease. You need to get your foot into the crease. Amar knows that very well, but the tension of the moment got to him and he forgot and he went back to get the bat. And Kiran wasn't looking anywhere. Kiran was just rushing forward and bang, they collided. All right, one big collision. And Amar, very thin and light, he went flying. Amar's bat, he's got the bat and then the bat goes flying. Kiran's bat goes flying. But does Kiran go flying? No. Why? Because gravity won't allow it. So Kiran just rolls off and falls to the side. And the other side, the fielders, looking very happy. We can get either of them out. They'll be run out and we will win the match. win the trophy, and they get Amar run out, right? And so this is how the book begins. Now, this year, Amar is very unhappy, he has nightmares, and his dear friends always remind him about this. They're not the caring ones who believe that Amar must be dying 1,000 deaths because he's responsible. But they keep reminding him, why did we lose the match? Because this idiot cannot hold on to the bat. How did we lose the match? Because this, as Amar turned and ran back for the bat. So Amar is determined to see that this year they win the trophy. Well, that's one of the things that happens. And the other is that Colonel Natkani passes away. So when Colonel Natkani passes away, which everyone is very unhappy about, but then something else happens which takes their mind off the sorrow, which is that they can't find the will. The will in which he has said that he is going to gift the uh, grounds to the school. It's missing. It's not there. And if the will is not there, they lose the grounds to his heir, who is his nephew, who is a builder. This nephew wants to build a block of flats. Imagine in school, you look out of your school classroom and instead of the open grounds, you see blocks of flats. So everybody is very upset. Amar and his friends, they're all very well knit group. They say, no, 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 we know there is a will because Colonel Uncle, they call him Colonel Uncle, he told us there is a will. And and they love him. And they are sure there is a will. But where is the will? So they start hunting for the will. So these are the two main events that that take the story forward. The few matches that are played before they come to the final, and lots of other incidents, funny incidents that happen, classroom, at home, mini disasters, and so on. And finally, do they find the will? You have to find out by reading the book and deciding, do they find the will they get their playground back, and so on. So that is how's that Butterfingers will. So that is why I wanted to tell you how, and just read one little bit from here, which yes, where the girl comes. I told you that there is a girl in the book in the school. She's a newcomer. I introduce her in this book. Her name is Minu. So now, Minu has come from France. She does not know anything about cricket, but she wants to learn. And these boys say, oh goodness, now how do we teach this girl cricket? She doesn't know one end of the bat from the other. But they are very well meaning, nice boys. They might be getting into trouble, but basically they're very good hearted. There's a lot of camaraderie. These are the things that I stress upon, how children cooperate, how they help one another, how good hearted they are, how well meaning they are, though all their well meant plans go awry and they land in trouble. That's another thing. So now she says, so they say, all right, Minu, you come, we will teach you cricket. So when they went to the grounds, Ajay is the captain of the cricket team, all right? So this, Ajay said to Minu in the grounds, putting a bat in her hand, right? He puts a bat in her hand and he says, this is a bat. Now, earlier, when they asked Minu, do you know cricket? Do you like cricket? She thought they were talking about crickets because her father is a lepidopterist, not a one who is an expert on insects. So she thinks it is one of those chirping crickets. And then they say, no, this is a game. There's no game. All right, teach me the game. And now they tell her, this is a bat. Now Minu giggles. Ha! What a game. Crickets, bats. Is the whole animal kingdom involved? Sort of. Arjun, who was listening for a change, said with a lazy grin, we have some monkeys like Amar, Ajay, and Kishore. We have overweight donkeys like Kiran and Eric. And a dodo like Arjun. Amar completed the list for him. He is living proof that the dodo is not extinct. Now Ajay continues his coaching. You hold the bat like this, he's telling Minu, and hit the ball that Thomas will bowl. He will begin his over, said Ajay. Now imagine getting all this information when you're not prepared for anything like this. Out of the blue, Minu is being told, you hold the bat like this and hit the ball that Thomas will bowl. He'll begin his over. Minu is totally puzzled. What's bowl And what's over? How can you begin something that is over? Asked Minu, holding the bat awkwardly and looking puzzled. So the exasperated boys realize they have a Herculean task on hand. And so that is how the book progresses. And that is what you find happening in House at Butterfingers. Now in Gold Butterfingers, yeah, what you find is they are thinking of having a football. It's also a novel. Amar has this brilliant idea of having a football World Cup in school. How can you have a football World Cup in school? He says we can, because Amar is full of brilliant ideas. Every brilliant idea leads him and his friends to the principal's room. All right. Anyway, so he has this brilliant idea and he says we can have four classes taking on the names of football playing countries and we can have a tournament. That is one of the issues here, or one of the one plot. The other is they have a very stern English teacher whom they nickname Sourpuss because they feel she does not know how to smile. She looks like she's sucking on a lime. She is glaring at them all the time. She's scolding them all the time. And, oh, the Sourpuss, she's come to plague us. And they wonder who she is. Is she a witch? Is she a demon? Is she a, oh, what is she doing? She can't be a teacher. She's got to be something else. Who is she? Why is she in their school? So that's another of the mysteries that are there, which is, and then there is a pesticide factory coming up. And of course, these boys want to help out. They do care about the environment. Pesticide factory means it's not good for the school. It's not good for the air. It's not good for the water. They're aware of all that. That factory must not come up. So they put their poke their noses there also. And then you have a lot of complications in this book. So that is this fun book, Gold Butterfingers. This one, I think the third one, Clean Bowl Butterfingers, you'll really enjoy it because here what happens is, if you look at the cover, Amar is playing cricket with an umbrella. And here, Clean Bold is written on something that looks like a splash of red. What actually happens in this book is there is a thief who is stealing cricket gear. I don't know what you have to say about a thief who is stealing sports gear. Thieves have so many things to steal. This thief is very special. He wants to steal sports gear, bats, balls, pads, and so on from schools. And Amar's school also loses all the sporting gear. And they were going to have a match. What do you do? Should we cancel the match? Amar says no. Another brilliant idea. We'll have a match. We'll have a variation of cricket, he says. We will play cricket with equipment that's not without a cricket bat, without a cricket ball. How it all happens. And you have all kinds of, see, this, of course, it's Butterfingers. It's about a historic girls versus boys cricket match. I told you I'm trying hard to get girls in. So I'm getting, this is one way in which I got girls in, one whole team. So there is this Colonel Natkarni, before he passed away, he seems to have wanted a cricket match on 15th March. Now immediately these boys, why 15th March? What is special about 15th March? Why not some other date? And why does he want us to play against girls? But they anytime they want to play cricket, any game, they are game for it. So that's no problem for them. But they also must find out. They're very inquiring minds they have. And they play and they go crazy. It's a crazy, funny story. You'll enjoy it. The next one is a story called Mummy. Which mummy? Not your mummy, but the Egyptian mummy. So there's a mummy coming to uh, uh, an actual mummy that is coming to the museum in their town, and the school is going to take these students there. So so Amar tells his father, his parents at home, that it will be here for a few days, then it moves to other places before going back to Kolkata and then from there to Florence. A traveling mummy, his father laughed. Don't forget that all mummies come with a curse. Not your mummy, he added in a hurry when his wife glared at him. Yes, Dad, curses, awesome. Kishore was talking about the curse of the pharaohs. What's it exactly? It's the curse that falls upon anyone who disturbs an ancient mummy, especially the mummy of a pharaoh. Pharaohs were extremely powerful. Anyway, it was mostly pharaohs who became mummies Only they could afford it. The others ended up as mere dead daddies. Ha ha ha! Amar guffawed, almost falling off his chair. Mrs. Kishan rolled her eyes at her husband, and then they go on, and Amar goes to see this mummy, and then he lands in a terrible, very strange adventure. So you have that music makers in a spot of bother. So I do introduce a lot of other different topics, and the occasional, sports is also there. It is just mere. It's a lot of amusement and a lot of. Now coming to this book, Smash It, Butterfingers. This is a badminton-based book. So after three collections of short stories, I went back to a novel. And I thought badminton. Actually, I first wanted to write a tennis novel. But then I realized, no, I didn't really. I thought tennis is an elite sport. I want Amar and his friends to play sports that anyone can play, middle class in a school. No, it should not be something which only very rich kids can play. So I thought badminton. And also, India is doing so well in badminton now. We need to celebrate that. So let's have badminton. And earlier I had only the title, all right? I wanted to write a book on badminton, and my title was Smash It. My editor was very happy. And then I was stuck with the title. I didn't have a book. And then I had to think and plot, think about a plot. So what this story is about, this book is about, is there is this multi-millionaire called Brijesh Kesing, who is eccentric. My books have quite a few eccentric characters walking in and out. He doesn't like superstitions. He believes that there is too much superstition around. And he also believes that children should stop, you should catch them young. When children are small, they should be taught through books that it is ridiculous to believe in superstitions and irrational things. Right? So he says one way in which he wants them to get rid of this idea that some things are unlucky, some things are lucky is, he says there should be a cricket match on Friday the 13th, right? Friday the 13th between Amar School, which is the 13th school in the list of schools in that town, another school called Clover School, which is the 13th school in the list in another town. So he says, we will have, this match has to happen, and 13-year-olds have to play. Amar's class 13. Oh, very good. That was one nice way in which I was able to get Amar's class to play this, and the boys who are 14, the boys who are 12 are very annoyed that they are left out of it. Only Amar's 13-year-old friends are able to play this. I'm sorry, it's not cricket, it's badminton. He is arranging for a badminton tournament between Amar School and Clover, doubles. So that is happening. And what does Amar go and do? He trips over his father's badminton racket at home and breaks his hand, right hand. But Amar is one who never takes no for an answer. If the right hand is gone, there is the left. So he tells everyone, I'm deft with my left. I can play badminton with my left. And he tries to practice and he wants to somehow play, right? And they're practicing. Now, these boys are wonderful at cricket, wonderful at football, superb at basketball, and zeros at badminton. They are hopeless. They are the Mr. Sundarlal tears his hair. He doesn't have much hair, but what little he has, he tears. And he says, what nonsense, these boys, what is this? You can't. He tries to make them to see who he has to fix, who is going to play. Nobody seems to be playing. And then, very unexpectedly, Arjun, the eccentric boy who lives in his own world, he says, I can play. He says, you can play? He said, yes, I can play. And actually, he can play. His father has been forcing him to go and get some exercise, and he's been going and practicing, and it's very good. And Amar with his left hand is better than the others with their right and both hands. So that is how these two are going to play. Now, Amar has an idea that he thinks we have to show Mr. Brijesh. Well, I don't think I will tell you more about these complications. You have to read and find out. But let me tell you that there is a black cat that comes into their classroom. A black cat. Suddenly, out of the blue, a black cat. And she seems to have adopted their school as her home, temporary home. Walks in and out, a very arrogant cat puts her nose in the air, totally black, walks in and out as she pleases, and they give her the name Ozymandias. You must have heard. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Shelley's sonnet Ozymandias, where these the boys had to study that, and therefore they thought Ozymandias is a nice name for this arrogant cat, so they give her the name Ozymandias. So one day it comes into their classroom. So I'll just read a little bit, and after that I will stop. So she comes into the classroom, and she's forever at loggerheads with the dog. There's a dog whose name is Chuha, right? And he's a mongrel. He is scared of the cat. So it's a cat that is chasing the dog. And she comes into the room. Chuha also comes. Chuha runs away, and Ozymandias chases him, then comes back. Look at the picture of Ozymandias, arrogant cat walking. And so they are discussing the cat. She's got green eyes and watches us as if she knows everything about us. Black cats mean bad luck. Kishore snorted. Ha! Now don't you start with that. No superstitions, please. Anyway, it's fitting that we should have a black cat in our school just when we are getting ready for a match on Friday the 13th. Ozymandias has been crossing and recrossing all our paths as she did now. Nobody's bothered any longer that a black cat brings bad luck. Oops! Exclaimed Amar. What was happening? The salt packet, they were eating mangoes with salt. And the salt packet had just reached Amar, and his hand being, still in the cast, he drops it. He drops the salt. So somebody said, Reshmi, the other girl, excellent. Now we have salt drop too. We have a black cat. Now you're dropping salt because it's supposed to be bad luck. More bad luck? Amar laughed. Kiran laughed. Not to worry. You can neutralize it by tossing some of the spilled salt over your left shoulder. For every superstition, you can counter it by doing something. So he says, you can do that. My mother does it. He took the whole packet from the floor and flicked its contents over Amar's left shoulder. Now Ozymandias ran into the class and in the salt's path, getting the white shower bang on her back. The students' guffaws greeted a scared Chuha who had mustered enough courage to chase the cat. He gave a howl and bolted, now pursued by a spotted Ozymandias. So that is how that happens. And then Jairam says, now all we need is for someone to break a mirror. That's also bad luck. And invite the 7-year curse, or see magpies, or walk under a ladder. I shattered the glass of a framed painting at home on Saturday, Amar volunteered. Not good enough. Jairam shook his head in mock solemnity. It's got to be a proper mirror. A 1-year curse, maybe, for your broken glass. And don't forget that nail clippings thrown on the floor are bad luck too. Nail clippings? Why? Thomas asked. Because witches brewed their magic potions with the nail clippings of their victims in order to control them. Nitin explained before Kishore had a chance. Kishore is the one who wants to explain everything to everybody. Kishore added, but did you know that Pablo Picasso actually believed this and kept all his nail clippings in sealed containers? Crazy. I do that too, man, Arjun drawled. He had been silent all this while steadily munching mangoes. Only I don't clip them. No way. I bite them off. More fun, what? And store them like that dude Kishore mentioned. He's talking about Pablo Picasso, right? Like that dude Kishore mentioned. I collect my hair too when I trim it. I have my nail box with me. You never know when you will bite your nails. He. Wanna see it? Now where is it? He began to dig into his pockets, but Minu stopped him with a shudder. No thanks. Yuck, how gross. And then that is how that's. So these are the fun books, and I just wanted to tell you that reading these books will give you a lot of pleasure. You will get this school atmosphere. Now, thanks to COVID, you're not able to go to school. I mean, many children now schools are opening up, but we really don't know because the threat of COVID hasn't completely gone. So for a long time, it's been sitting at home, online classes, and school life. See, I'm talking about them having lunch together. Great fun. I'm talking about them in the grounds, playing cricket, getting into scrapes, being called to the principal's room, being punished there. So many things that are so, and then the classroom atmosphere is there. So you have a wealth of little details about the school life, which you are probably missing a lot now, and which you can vicariously enjoy. Vicariously meaning second, in a second hand manner, through this book, through these books you can go back to school life, you can enjoy school life. And also, one thing about books is, and what is happening to you, is that in books you're not there, you empathize, you're with the character, but then you're happy that you're not in all those scripts. That actually makes you enjoy the book better. Oh, thank goodness I'm not the one who is involved in all this. I'm not the one who fell down and broke my hand. I'm not the one that the principal has banned from playing the World Cup match. You know, all those things. So you empathize, you enjoy it, and feel a sense of relief. Okay, thank goodness I'm not the one. So that is how uh, books really add so much to your life. They are there's nothing like books. So for me, one of the reasons, if people do ask me, what do you like better, writing or reading? And I will always say reading. I may be writing, but for me, reading is the most important thing. Reading is what has always given me joy, always given me pleasure. If you ask me now, what do you want to read? Why don't you write a story? Or there's a book around? I'll take the book. It's not that it is an easier option. It is because you just need to read. But reading also makes demands on you. It's not like watching television. Reading means you have to get absorbed in it. You have to understand what's happening. You have to imagine what's happening. You know, there are so many, it's making so many demands, diverse demands on you. And your brain is actually, while doing all that, your brain is getting to be better. We don't know that. So reading is helping us in so many ways. But the main reason why you're reading is because you want to enjoy a good book. So that is the beauty of the whole thing. You're doing something, you're enjoying something, and while you're enjoying, look at the advantages. Look at the immense benefits that are there. Your language improves, your ideas come to your head, you become more level-headed, you might even stop being superstitious. So many things, advantages are there, so many joys. So there's nothing like reading. And now that I'm also writing, for me, again, the joy of writing is manifested. It gets complete. The writing process is complete only when I have readers. And it's not just the reluctant reader. It's not a reluctant reader. If I make a reluctant reader an earnest reader or an enthusiastic reader, for me, that is the best gift. And about 6 people have told me that they have become readers after starting on Butterfingers. So that is something that I cherish. But when somebody reads and gets back to me saying they like the book, they love the book, why they liked it, then it makes my the exercise of writing, it's a joy. It's not an exercise. It's not a painful thing. I enjoy doing it. It completes it. So that is how it is. But reading is always my first love. And those of you children who want to write, let me tell you that you can become good writers only if you are good readers. Writing can only happen on a foundation of reading, right? So I would like to thank Kanak. Thank you very much for listening. So it was so nice to have you there, and all you dear children, parents, all the listeners, all who are watching. Thank you very much for giving me this time and getting introduced to Butterfingers.